Okay, so last time we started off in a combat with the special traveling bandits that the sky was rooting for pretty outwardly so. We defeated them. Wait. They might be worth a bounty since we owe lots of money to a mysterious change purse. So we were going to Raidell for a party anyway, so we wanted to turn them in along the way and see if we could make something out of that. And then there was Riven getting lost trying to find a brothel she frequents because the last time she went, she was drunk. So she doesn't know how to find it. And then there was an adorable little guy with, I think was it bongos?
Yes.
He was a kobold, yes, and he had bongos.
Will make a correction. She only went there once. So she doesn't frequent it.
I mean, you do something twice, it's a habit. I'm just saying. Anyway.
That's not true.
But, yeah, so we met a kobold named Skunk. And that's about all I remember. Cad's along to carry drunk people if required. He's the designated elephant.
Yeah.
Designated elephant.
At least he doesn't have to worry about carrying Locke, because Locke's not going to drink. Neither will Oak, at least not that bad anyway. The other two members of the party, though, we don't know.
Oh, Bjorn's going to be chugging alcohol tonight.
This is going to be a night of discovery, is what this is going to be.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We shall see. So...
It's going to be a night of discovery. Roll investigation.
So, last session ended after Riven's encounter with Skunk. Like everyone else that is small and young and realizes that the big dire wolf is not going to hurt them because it's actually rather friendly, he finds the big dangerous looking dire wolf to be cute.
Why does everyone find my dog cute?
So we ended last session with that adorable little interlude of Skunk petting Hollis. So
And I didn't even have to mage hand.
yeah, you don't have that. You're a rogue. You could be a rogue with mage hand if you wanted to. That is a thing.
I know, arcane tricksters, but that ain't Skunk style.
Nope. So with that in mind, Riven, are you going to? It's still probably a good hour and 15 minutes or so before the party officially starts. Are you going to want to make your way back to the tavern with everybody else, or are you going to stay in the marketplace and help Unrae and Mudslide finish setting up?
She's gonna go wander back to the party if she can find the party.
That is a good question.
Did anyone tell her where we were going?
25. I figured it out.
Okay. We're in Raidell. We've been here before. There's only so many places the party could go. To the
We're
casino.
nowhere to be found.
She only knows one tavern that she stayed at. She's going to that tavern.
That's the only place in this town any of us have ever stayed at. So yeah.
As far as the party,
Logical.
the actual player party, yeah, Oak stayed at a tavern or two that's different from the go-to big popular place. But anyway, so Riven, you very easily make your way back to the Sparkling Wishes Inn. You are greeted with the red tiefling bouncer person, and he just sees you, sees the wolf, knows who you are. You're immediately led inside, and he's just, your friends are over there. And he points to
Actually, did we have Hollis here?
You did not
Last
have Hollis at You had Hollis at the first time you went here, but he was much smaller.
Yeah, and now there's this giant ass wolf following me around.
Yeah. Which seems to be the very much beacon of telling people this is who you are, apparently.
It's like having Hollis following you around is like your superhero costume. Like that's how people know which superhero you are in a world filled with them.
Something like that, yeah. So he lets you inside, and tells you that your friends are on the the actual main tavern side of the and looking inside, it's not hard to find your friends. It's actually the crowd in here has rather thinned out at this point. Everybody's getting ready to head out to the actual party and get their stuff together and all that sort of stuff. Finding your friends at a table is not hard. Are you going to go to them, or are you going to go to the bar to get drinks? There's drinks on the table. Bjorn got them.
She's gonna go to the party.
Yep. Alrighty. So, the rest of you will see Riven wander back into the tavern and make way to the rest of you.
Eh.
Bjorn quickly prepares another cup of ale.
Yep.
Someone's getting a head start.
What?
Someone's
was that?
getting a head start.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, he is.
Well, you can't go to a party sober. That's just rude.
Is it though?
Where I come from? Yes. It's grounds for having your teeth knocked out, honestly. So I'd suggest drinking up. Swig some more ale.
Why are you going to be the one who knocks my teeth out?
Consider. I suppose that would depend on whether the hosts were offended or not.
The walls around us right now.
Okay, are you saying if they're offended, you are going to knock out his teeth?
Well, we are
Where you choose your
friends.
next words very, very carefully.
We are friends, so no, I probably
Are we,
wouldn't knock
though?
his teeth out.
Okay.
But stern words would certainly be issued.
To answer your question, Cad, as mentioned, there's not a whole lot of other patrons in the tavern right now. About the closest you have is the drow bartender and the female tabaxi waitress that could theoretically be in line of, well, not line of sight, but like within perceivable distance to hear any of your conversation.
Do they look like they're looking over at us at the moment?
Yes, but as soon as you look over and notice, in particular to Tabaxi, yes. But as soon as you look over and notice that she's looking your way, your group's way, she immediately looks away and is messing with, gathering up glasses and dishware and things for the party later.
So, Cad will go up behind Bjorn and will activate the entertainment hat, and we'll become what's his name? Shadow Grasp. And ever so gently bump it into Bjorn's shoulder and sort of look like I'm swaggering a little. Excuse me, sorry, had too much. And then he's going to sit down.
You've made yourself look like who?
What?
Someone you
Shadow
have not
Grasp.
met.
Oh, he hasn't seen Shadow Grasp yet?
Nope.
I thought I showed him
yeah.
the entertainment hat.
Oh no!
And Riven certainly hasn't seen.
I mean,
it
you
before
have
either.
shown him the entertainment hat, but I don't think you've shown him this particular disguise.
No, we have. Over in Iban.
We have?
Yeah.
Mm.
It might
I
have
was
been.
thinking I had.
There's always like something about like
Don't
party
recall
tricks or
offhand.
something. Okay, whatever.
Regardless, it's fine.
I gently bump into him and sort of stagger a step or so and try and act like I've had a couple too many, and then I sit down.
At our table?
Isn't that where I started sitting?
I don't know.
So you get up from where you're standing, walk around.
Walk behind him, and then I'm another person. I become another person, and then I sit back down. Yeah.
Okay. Seeing as how Bjorn
Everything about this plan confuses me, and I am all here for it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to debate whether or not Riven's seen this. I've actually seen you change into a separate person.
I don't think Riven has either.
No, not seen him as Shadowgrass, but actually watched him change if he just went behind Bjorn.
Probably not, no.
Does Bjorn notice?
I bumped into you from behind.
Yes. But more, do I notice
I would say with
you change?
I would say with unless you want to be stealthy or deceptive about it, roll whichever one, Cad.
I mean, I spoke to him in my voice.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you
It'd be fairly obvious. But you see, this way, when we go, I can act like I came pre-drunk so that people don't get offended, so no paladin has to punch out my tusks.
Oh, that's where this is going. Okay.
I was confused.
Bjorn nods his approval.
And suddenly, this crazy plan makes sense. Kind of.
Oak just sort of sighs and's like, I don't think. Why'd you roll intelligence specifically?
Who's this new guy?
So whether or not she could tell that was Cat's voice or not.
Ah.
You're just getting the evilest stank eye right now, like, who the fuck is this?
Oh no.
That's funny.
It has all gone wrong.
Hey.
How much is one of the drinks that Riven would like to drink?
It's just a normal ale, I guess, so I don't know. A couple coppers? What? I don't know. I don't know how much we said it cost here.
I flagged down to Baxi or whoever would bring us stuff, and I give money, and hey, can you get her another?
Yes, yeah. Tabaxi is confused as to where'd the Loxodon go, but she gets you.
I'm sorry. Who is this? Why are you sitting at our table?
That's
I've always been here.
That's Cat. Just roll with it. He does this from time to time.
That's Cat?
But
He has a funny hat.
A funny hat.
if no one
That
else is
makes him
looking, I will.
change size like that. Change size and change
You all kind of cut out.
race.
If no one else is looking or appears to be, I will poof back.
Well, to be fair, and then I will use massive mini faces to make myself look like Riven.
Right?
Why do you look like me now?
Oh!
Why
I'll
do you look
use
like me?
entertainment. Had to turn into Riven.
Why is there two of me?
Well, technically, I think there's three now.
What? What do you...
Riven?
I am Riven. These two are... What?
Yeah,
What?
Riven.
What?
Magic. I turn
That's
back into
bullshit.
me. Magic is bullshit. I thought we knew this.
Yes.
I'll turn back into Cad.
Fucking hell.
So, with you guys, making use of magic and other such things, as you finish off transforming into Riven and back again, there is suddenly a somewhat timid Tabaxi that's here. Here you go.
She just takes the cup and just starts drinking heavily, like nonstop. Just goes and goes and goes.
Kadruil,
I don't
who is
get it.
back to being elephant, turns to her and thanks her. And how much do I owe you for the drink?
3 silver.
Okay. I guess I give her a gold piece.
She just sort of blinks and I'll be back and she wanders off behind the bar. So you guys are I don't know if you want to have any other in particular conversations or anything. Eventually she comes back and she will give you 7 silver as change. She just had to go behind the bar to get it because she didn't actually have it on her.
Thank you.
And then following that, as she finishes up, you guys are finishing up getting more. As she brings you guys more drinks, she sort of stops. It's as if she's hearing something that the rest of you don't. Although Oak sort of looks up because perception of huge, even though he's not expecting it, and suddenly at the doorway that comes into the tavern area, you will see the copper-skinned fire genasi that is the proprietor to the Sparkling Wishes that will appear. And he sort of claps his hands loudly and says, all right. Anyone who feels as though they don't want to go to the party, you need to go to rooms or anywhere but here. Guys, we need to get gathered up and get our stuff over there. We got 45 minutes left before the party itself. And then the Tabaxi, the Drow, and the Fire Genasi will start getting stuff together to basically partially cater for the upcoming party. What are you guys going to do aside from that? He's basically said, everybody out. You don't have to go to the party. You just can't stay here. Get out of here.
I follow party.
I'm just going where the rest of my people are going. So,
Yep.
I guess. We go out.
Yeah, finish the ale, sweet it down, and yeah.
How many ales do you think Bjorn would have had at this point? Might have been in...
not enough.
I'm gonna 3 or 4.
So
Probably 4.
So he wasn't chugging them super quick, but he was kind of chugging.
Yeah, like he was enjoying it, but he was working himself up gradually.
Okay. Seeing as Riven went to the marketplace first and then came here, and Riven is a half-orc who's got a little bit tougher constitution for such things, Riven doesn't have to worry about it, but...
I only had 1 drink.
Exactly, that too. You had only 1 drink as well. So, Bjorn, you're about 4 drinks in, 4 or 5 drinks in. Give me a con save.
Oh man, okay.
It's not a high roll, as long as you don't... There you go. Yeah, you're fine.
Oh yeah. I don't think they put very much alcohol in these drinks, friends.
They
You know you've had enough. You know you've had enough when you're surprised you need to make a con save.
So
You know what? Yeah, that's kind of true. Yeah, that's when you know that's enough.
So you guys make your way back towards the marketplace, I guess. Everybody will arrive more proper to this map that the group has been sitting on, even though not everybody is here. Riven, you and Hollis are back down here, closer to where the parties are.
Okay.
Closer to where the party is coming in. I will put Skunk back over here where he was. You guys arrive in the marketplace. It's busy and bustling, but it's clear that people are setting up more for performances than for stalls of like wares and foods, except for the stalls like the Sparkling Wishes that is more like side concession and other such things. We will actually have... I don't have an image for the Drow bartender, but I do have the Tabaxi and the proprietor person. Boop. I very much like the Tabaxi GSQ. Boop.
Dum dum dum.
So,
She calico.
yes, she is calico. Yes.
Yep.
So you guys will arrive for the party. Other people are wandering in. You see that there are a group of like guardsmen sort of acting as bouncers and to make sure that nothing goes too crazy around here. Riven will recognize the person that led her here before as amongst them. And yeah, you are free to wander around the party a little bit before anything gets really announced and gets going.
Okay.
I think for now, Locke is just going to hang with Cad and just. I don't want to say be his wingman, but I guess be his buddy. Just like follow, just hang with him, and if something comes up with Cad, Locke will be present for it.
Okay.
Parties aren't really Locke's thing, so he's just kind of sticking with the quiet guy.
Fair enough.
Keep Locke safe. Okay.
Bjorn wants to like sort of look around at what sort of like any sort of like stalls or like people selling stuff might be getting set up. Wants to know what stuff's going to be available.
Alright, so Bjorn's looking at other stalls. Riven, you doing anything specific?
He's just wandering like there's a crowd here.
Mm-hmm. There is indeed a crowd here. Alright. So
I guess I'd walk around with Bjorn and look at the stalls.
Okay.
Alright. And that by definition means that Locke would
Yep.
also be. So yeah. So, alright, we got a squad.
Yeah. I think you... Unless Riven specifically wanders off amongst the crowd by herself, I think you're pretty much all staying together at that point then.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
It's safe to say.
Alright. So with Bjorn leading the charge to find a stall, roll for me a investigation, I suppose.
Dun, dun, dun. Investigation. Oh, I'm gonna find some good stuff with that 18.
Okay. So 18. As I said, a lot of the stalls are more setting up for smaller performances. But there is a few that seem to be selling wares and trying to, make a little bit of money here at this little party. So with the 18, what will immediately come to you is you have a young, with the 18 sort of looking around, a young woman, human, looks to be about early 20s or so, that seems to be setting up some sort of like a small place where she's made like scarves and things. It seems like she likes to knit and sew. And you also will find sort of across the way a little bit a little green kobold that is playing bongos.
Nice.
Yeah.
He got a lot of practice during the family games.
Oh yeah, he played his bongos pretty much every time something went right. And he even
And also
hid an
just
evil
to start
book inside one of them.
conversations.
He also hid an evil, soul-devouring book inside one of his bongos, so another party member who is ensorcelled by it couldn't find it.
Alrighty then.
Yes, that did happen. Okay.
That is it is a plan that worked remarkably well. I don't fully understand it.
Anywho, Bjorn wants to check these scarves out. He wants to see like if they look like they're pretty good quality.
Okay. So you wander over to look at the stalls, or look at the scarves. And the young woman will sort of look up and oh, well, hi.
Hello there. I was wandering about when I caught sight of these wonderful scarves. Did you make them?
Yeah. My mother used to sort of teach me to sew. I never really could get the hang of it when I was younger, but I got a little bit more time to focus on it, so I wanted to try to see what I could. And then she stops and just goes dead silent as she's looking at you.
I cock my head. Quite all right. You seem to have drifted off there.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I made them myself, and she was
Insight check.
Who I was doing insight.
She doesn't seem to be wanting to harm Locke.
You were quick on the draw with that one, Brian.
Locke's paranoid. Give him a break.
I mean, yeah, fair. Speaking of someone who's usually paranoid, he would roll insight too. Let's see if his is higher.
Paranoia Club.
Yay for characters that are paranoid. Boop.
Damn!
Okay. So
a Teventus.
Never lie to Oak.
Oak knows everything. Dear God.
So, Locke, for you, you pick up on it took a second, but it seemed like she had this air about her of you know the phrase of you look like you just saw a ghost kind of thing. It seems as though something triggered a memory or something was messing with her, and as she got a better look at Bjorn as the two of them were talking, it caused her to just stop. And she got really nervous. She's still being the I'm a person selling something. But her demeanor has shifted to like all business, just all business, and she is not making eye contact with Bjorn at all.
So she got nervous about Bjorn,
Yes.
specifically.
Yes.
I will convey that via Awakened Mind to Bjorn. I don't know what, but something about you is making her uneasy. Tread with care.
Oh,
Aside from that,
all right.
she has showed you a set of scarves and I guess it would be scarves and maybe socks or some such. Something simple and straightforward. And knit. Multiple different colors, lots of neutral colors, not very many super vibrant or bright colors. But there's quite a selection if you wanted to pick out one.
Yeah, Bjorn's gonna see if he can't find like a darker shade of like blue or green of a scarf. And how much are you charging for these?
4 silver. 4.
4 silver. I pull out 4 silver, hand it over. Look over the scarf. This really is quite excellent work. Where did you say you were from again?
I grew up here.
Local, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Well, keep up the good work. I'll sort of wander off.
Okay. Anyone else in the party doing anything with that? What was that, Sam?
Riven's probably just gonna keep following.
Okay.
Same with Locke. He's not the sort to shove his nose where it don't belong.
As we're walking away, I do want to like look back and like a subtle glance backwards and see like what she's doing.
Okay. As she, as you look back, you see that she's a little bit more nervously, like finishing up her proper setup of displays for all the scarves. She's still doing what she planned on doing and is finishing like proper setup and stuff like that, but she seems to have a more, especially with what Locke had told you before, you can sort of pick up on there's a nervous tension to how she's moving now.
Odd. Very odd. Alright.
What do you do with the scarf you picked up?
Oh, Bjorn's gonna wear it.
Okay.
Like, he immediately, he genuinely likes scarves.
I mean, it makes sense.
They were essential where he grew up.
Very.
Does he know how to knit?
No, but Mrs. Mama Bjorn was the fucking best at it.
Mama Bjorn.
Mama Bjorn. Mrs. Mama Bjorn. I love the way you said that.
Yes. So, yeah. You said it yourself there, Bjorn. Scarves were essential where you grew up. You go to put on this scarf. Now that you're more wearing it proper, it's a little worn, maybe, as if the fabric she made it out of was a little bit older. But it feels a lot like the scarves that maybe not necessarily as good quality of stitching as Mama Bjorn, as it were. But it very well could have been made of the same materials. Same kind of wool and fur. Same kind of wool and fur.
Strange.
So, from there, you guys sort of will continue wandering around. Do you go and investigate the kobold, Bjorn?
If he's playing well, yeah.
Yeah. Brian, do you remember what Skunk had for performance?
I've got his character sheet right here.
There you go.
+1.
Should have actually
That's
implemented
it.
it, but that's fine.
Yeah, you should have, but you didn't.
I
Salty.
forgot to make a sheet. I forgot to make you a sheet for him. That's yeah. Sorry about that.
Nice.
You rolled an 18.
He's playing well.
Okay. Yeah. So he's doing fairly well.
Alright, yeah, Bjorn's definitely gonna go hang out. He will.
Oh, your helmet looks cool.
Oh, thank you. I made it myself.
Has
Nice.
has Skunk ever encountered a Loxodon?
No, he will not have. I'm just going off of his experiences in the campaign he was from, and there were no Loxodons in that world, so...
No, I don't even think
So,
there weren't even elephants on that continent. Like, just regular.
so yeah. When Skunk sees Cad walking up, he's going to stop playing, slap his bongos as if he were slamming his hands down onto a table, and stand bolt upright.
Whoa! What are you?
I am a Loxodon.
Oh, so that's what Loxodons look like. Ha! You're big. Hi, I'm Skunk.
Hi, Kadruil.
And you, Mr. Horns. What was your name?
I go by Bjorn these days.
These days. You had a different name before?
No, but it sounds cooler if I say these days.
I like your style.
He sits back down cross-legged and goes back to playing his bongos.
Apparently he's ADD. Y'all are cool.
Hey man, Bjorn, he's appreciating the enthusiasm. It's like, yeah, we are pretty cool, aren't we? Yeah.
And then Skunk points at Locke.
Except him, he's kind of scrawny. Hey.
I keep telling you, you need to do more push-ups.
I keep telling him he needs meat on his bones. See, now there's two people telling you to do that.
You know what? Locke's gonna go over, stuff his hand into the bag of colding, whip out a donut, and just start eating it right now.
Good.
This will put fat on my skin.
Apparently it has not worked.
It's all right. Donuts are cheap. We can keep trying.
We have hundreds. The fact that none of us has diabetes yet is a miracle.
It's basically all we eat. I think since we started this campaign, Bjorn has existed on a diet of beer and donuts exclusively.
That cannot be good for him.
So he's going to drop dead like any day now.
We burn off all the calories from the donuts, walking, fucking everywhere, and with all of our epic fights, but we don't get anything else in our digestive systems.
Anyway.
But this is D&D. Isn't the average life expectancy level 20?
Yeah.
Depends on how nice the DM is.
Not when your diet is sugar and bread.
Alright, anyway. So,
Don't worry, we'll go find some sticks and you can start out with lifting those. You'll be fine. In push-ups. Maybe we can find some marshmallows to put on the end of the sticks to make them heavier?
I'm not taking kindly to this.
Oak sort of hypes up and goes, I mean, you could just use the donuts.
Oh, yeah. Just need to find a stick that fits in the... Okay.
Anyway.
You know what? Locke's going to use his last remaining spell slot for the day to cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter on Riven.
Oh, God. What is it?
You need to succeed on a Wisdom saving throw. DC 15.
Nope.
Okay, so Riven falls over laughing. Locke just smirks down at her and laugh it up, and then he walks away.
What does the spell all do?
It makes you laugh uncontrollably for you're on the ground, you fall prone. To read the description, a creature of your choice must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw or fall prone, becoming incapacitated and unable to stand up for the duration. The duration being concentration up to 1 minute. A creature with an intelligence score of 4 or less isn't affected. At the end of each of its turns, and each time it takes damage, the creature can make another Wisdom save. The target has advantage if it's triggered by damage. On a success, the spell ends. So, yeah.
It lasts for a minute, you said?
Yeah.
You could
I
roll-
can't move, I can't do any actions?
You're just on the ground laughing hysterically, but every 6 seconds you can try to break out of it.
Yeah, roll you another
And-
wisdom
and-
save. Why the heck not?
Yeah.
No, come on! So it lasts for a minute?
Yeah.
You got 6 more.
6 more? Gosh, darn it!
No!
You got 1.
Oh my god!
4
You're
more.
gonna laugh this whole minute.
It'd be funny if she makes the last.
Everyone is staring at her. Oh my!
This is making me so fucking happy.
Finally!
So hold on, let me do the math here. So that's
1, 2,
6,
3, 4,
12,
5,
18, 24.
So a little over.
It's like 36 seconds.
A little over
Yes,
half.
how far have you moved in that second?
Well, I mean, you're rolling around on the ground, so Locke's just gonna find somewhere I have to stay within range, don't I?
I don't know, is there a range to it?
The range is 30 feet, but it doesn't say if the spell ends if I leave the range,
No, the spell's
No,
not going to end if
you could
the
leave.
So yeah, in those 36 seconds, Locke is going to find the most obscure place he can find, and he is going to hide.
Mine, Dad.
36 seconds, and there's 30 feet of movement?
Yeah,
Yeah. We won't worry about that too much. Lock roll stealth.
25.
That's-
210 feet.
Okay.
You can easily get way the heck away if you wanted to.
I don't want to get all the way away, but I do want to get enough of a distance away as to deter Riven from exacting revenge.
As it stands.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay.
He is a
Yes.
half-elf. Do I have advantage?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Favorite enemies are elves.
You have half advantage. You roll normal.
Uh,
I don't know, it's something to do where you have to look at the race.
You are not. A half elf is not considered elf for purposes of, like, feats and things that are specific to elves. But a half elf does have some of the traits that an elf has. So, seeing as half elves do not get all of the good things that an elf gets, I would imagine that they don't get all the bad things either. So, no.
Shoot. Okay.
That is probably the most mischievous thing Locke has ever done. That's what you get.
Damn it!
Okay, so how hard are you trying to find him, Riven?
She's gonna look around for a bit, like, visibly, like, walking around, going, like, where the fuck? Where are you, twerp?
Don't you have a track, puppy?
I do, and he has advantages on scent.
Ah, shit.
Roll some perception for Hollis then.
19.
Nope.
Probably get, like, within 40 feet of you and be like, ah! Fuck, yeah, whatever.
Locke, living up to his name as the group's rogue, technically. Kind of.
at this point, yes, because Yon's not here.
Might as well just be a trickster rogue.
So, as you guys are having your, like
Like Skunk sees all of this happen, because this happened when he was right there. He just kind of stops playing his bongo for a second during the part where Riven's laughing on the ground. Is like,
I like you people.
goes back to playing.
So we know who's going to join the party if something horrible happens to Locke. Good to know.
Yeah, I would have no problems with having Skunk be my new character. Though I wouldn't mind bringing back Luvina, because she was a lot of fun.
Yes.
So
And I kind of want to make a character out of Drelena, but that's for another time.
So as you guys are doing your crazy shenanigans, there is a moment where and you guys are in amongst the crowd, and the guards are keeping an eye on you, but you're just having a little bit of fun. You're not causing a horrible ruckus. You're not really fighting each other or blasting spells at each other or anything.
Well, unfortunately, Riven couldn't get her hands on him.
I mean, we're basically in Vegas. This is probably the most tame thing they've seen all day.
I mean, yeah, pretty much. It's also worth noting that it may be because of it's the same thing that allowed half the people in town to know Bjorn and Riven. That might be why the guards are not doing anything. So with that, you guys are going to sort of be doing your crazy shenanigans, and at one point, Bjorn, you guys are somewhere up here closer to Skunk. Like that.
Okay.
And we will say Locke is somewhere over here, with Riven looking for him over here, with Hollis or some such. Maybe he's around the corner of this building. Yeah, there you go.
I'm just hiding behind that stall.
I was just like,
Over here. And then Bjorn, you are as your group is doing your shenanigans, are you watching your friends, as it were, do their craziness?
Oh yeah. Bjorn is having a great time with this.
So after a moment, there is a Bjorn, you will get a soft sort of pull at your cloak. And
Bjorn and I
Looking
Go on.
down, you will see a tiny pink-haired gnome.
Hello?
There she is. Well, lavender-haired gnome. And aside from her pink pigtails, one of the other striking features to this little gnome is her eyes are sort of just glazed over. Even in that picture that I showed you there, the color of her eyes is a little faded and cloudy.
Oh no, she's Storm.
So she just sort of tugs, and you look down and say hello, and she's, "You must be Bjorn." And her voice is immediately recognizable. She's the person that sent you a message before.
So she's bratty.
Preppy, but yes.
Preppy.
She's that voice that you did the slight Valley Girl accent and made Brian upset.
Joyous times.
Uh-huh.
So I say, oh, I recognize your voice. You're the one who invited me here.
Well, yes,
Wow.
I did. It was partially mudslide, but yes, of course. How are you and your friends doing?
Well, I've got a new scarf. We've had a few drinks, so that's a wonderful start.
I can just see, like, in like a little cartoon, like Riven just running in the background screaming, "Where are you?"
Just actively looking under things, one axe in one hand.
No, she wouldn't get that far. She just has both fists in the air, just screaming out like, "Ah!"
And then and Hollis is following behind, tongue lolling out like, "Ooh, this is fun."
Yeah, just pretty much that. It's just going back and forth.
Perfect.
She's the little gnome.
The most chaos I've ever caused with something I did, and I love it.
The little,
It all started when you used Mage Hand.
the little gnome sort of looks up at the noise and are they okay?
Merely the victims of a good-humored prank.
Oh, well, those are fun. So,
Yes.
so, Mudslide tells me that you came from Aban. Got any fun stories from over there?
Oh, a few, I suppose. Most of them are rather dull, I'm afraid. There's one or two good ones. For example, there was a time a frost troll swept through our village, stole the local goat, which was a terrible thing. We relied on that for its milk. I tracked it into the mountains and slayed it. Slew it. I think that's the word.
Tomato, doesn't matter. I get the idea, I think.
Either way, there was that accomplishment that convinced the elders that I was ready to start going out on voyages. Very important time in my life.
Ah, so you slayed this creature when you were very young, then?
13? No.
So, are you and your friends enjoying the party then?
I would say so. Yes.
Can Riven
Although I understand that
Radio
we're still
here?
setting up most of it.
Everything's finishing up. We'll get going here fairly soon. It's gonna be great.
Excellent, excellent.
Can Riven go over to Oak?
Mm-hmm.
She's gonna put both her hands on his shoulders. Even though I think he's taller than her?
How tall is Riven?
Did I put how tall she is? She is 6'2".
She is just a notch taller than him. He's 6'1".
She's gonna be like, "I need you for a very important mission.
Oh no.
Can you please find Locke? Please?" "I will forgive whatever troubles you have caused me."
He's over there.
Aha!
Fucking. Dad! And Locke is running.
Hollis, fetch!
Shit!
Your hunter's mark so he can't vanish.
He's not within range. Okay.
Okay, so Hollis is chasing me now?
Yes, and Riven's following.
Okay, if Hollis gets within 30 feet, I would like to, while running, cast Mage Hand to try and smack the shit out of him. Be it petting him on the head or just grabbing onto one of his legs to trip him up. I don't know. I just don't want this dog catching me because I know what he can do.
Just the pets.
Roll animal handling.
Oh, God.
Just give him advantage.
I mean,
Because
yeah.
I know Hollis enjoys the pets.
Animal handling at advantage. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
11.
man.
My luck has run out.
So Hollis is still bounding toward you.
Yeah, just like a really happy Lucky. Looks like Locke. Haha. It's like friend.
Do I have enough time to try one other thing?
Sure.
Well, he can get to you within one turn, but I'm trying to think. Where these two people are over here, is there technically a stand over here?
There would technically be a stand very similar to,
Okay, then he has to go around.
yeah.
Oh.
I mean, he could have bounded over. He could jump.
No.
I don't have anything that can help me here, so I am just. Oh wait, no, I do actually have something, but it wouldn't
He's
actually.
right there.
But I do actually have something I can use, but it would not go over well, so I'm not going to.
You have an elephant?
You're not in my pocket. I can't just pull out an elephant and be like, "Here, catch," and yuck you at the dog.
No, but you can run behind me.
Do I have enough movement speed to get there in time? I have 30 feet of movement versus the dog's 55.
Remember, we have to go around to get to you.
The problem is, if I go that way, I'm also going to be running right into your line of sight.
I've already seen you.
Fuck.
It.
Whatever, we're just basically chasing each other around.
Yeah, pretty much.
Because he wasn't going to do anything harmful. He was just going to, like, grab your shirt and hold you still.
I know that, but it's still a big fucking dog chasing me. There's some fight or flight instincts going off here.
Oh, that's fine.
Yep. So, the little gnome, she sort of holds up two fingers for a second, kind of like a mini version of the a Girl Scout salute or something, like the small two fingers thing, and she just, oh, they'll be fine. So,
What?
if you, the party should be starting very soon. I'm excited to see what you and your friends, say when you go on stage. At least some of you will.
Oh, no.
Oh. Stage. Locke abstains.
We don't know. We're not there. We don't know we're going on stage.
On
I know.
stage, you say.
Well, yes. You gotta give your speech. At least one of you has to tell the story of how you saved Unrae. And you have a large party, so different perspectives might be important.
Kadruil pats him on the shoulder and says, "You've got this, Bjorn."
Oh, the Loxodon. So what's your story?
That is tricky on so many levels.
As that conversation.
She probably will think it's a fable that we broke you out of jail.
I'm wondering if I should pretend I'm from a bond. Because we're currently not there.
I mean, you could.
I mean, this isn't the city where we're wanted that we're in right now.
Right. So,
The city where we're wanted is Caberton. We're in Raidell.
unless they decide to, like, I don't know, extend the search and just go and put wanted posters in major towns.
How far would wanted things go? Would I know something like this?
Actually, yeah, you did. You would. You worked in Caverton. It's possible that, you know, a wanted poster for like Locke or for yourself or for Silver might have made its way into Raidell. And you do know that a lot of Raidell's like police work, sort of like Raidell, Caverton, and the two cities that were like heavily xenophobic were the only towns on this entire continent that had walls. So it was, it's possible. Bjorn, you want to sneak away? Roll stealth.
Not Bjorn's strong point, and he's not good at it.
Before you even start to sneak away, she's like, "Oh, you're fine. You can go on. I'll talk to you later."
All right.
She's gonna be like, while looking at Cad, she's pointing over and she's like, "By the way, the beer's that way."
Actually, yes. Yes, exactly.
Right.
She doesn't break eye contact with Cad, and she just says to Bjorn, "Oh, you're fine. You can go on. The beer's that way, by the way."
Thank you. And Bjorn heads off in that direction.
Jesus.
So,
Which I am gonna assume is like somewhere in that general range.
and Locke is currently busy running away from a puppy, so he's no use.
I think at this point I've probably been caught.
Probably.
Yeah, and Hollis is just like wagging his tail, like, "Look at what I got! I got a prize!"
He's sort of holding you up like a wolf with a pup.
Yeah, so we're going back to the party.
I feel like saying I'm from Caberton is not good. I feel like saying I'm from anywhere over here other than Caberton is even worse. Because there are not really any Loxodon outside of Caberton, really, right?
Nope. Not on Gradiriel. There's not.
So yeah, I'm just visiting friends while I'm away from Aban.
You're on an adventure with friends. Does that count as visiting?
They wanted to take a break from adventuring, and it brought us to where they were more familiar, so I guess.
Perception, cat. 15. Not bad.
What is her insight?
Well, if you say so. You guys don't know it.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Insight of 13 on her to see if she bought it. She's a little difficult to read in that regard, but she's at least seemed to stop worrying about it, especially as a large dog with half elf in tow, or in jaw, I guess, comes up and she's interesting. That one I wasn't expecting.
I mean, he probably, at this point, since we went up to the group, he probably let you go.
Yeah. So, after Hollis set you down, you immediately have a little gnome girl. Well, hi there.
Hi?
Locke, right?
How do you know that?
Well, I know your party. Mudslide had to tell me a little bit about you as she was making use of my services to contact. She doesn't look towards him, but she points towards Bjorn is with the at the ale. Contact him.
Ah. Alright. That makes a degree of sense, I suppose. Yes, I am Locke.
I've asked some of your other friends so far. What's your story? Why are you adventuring?
Initially it was a matter of personal necessity just to stay alive, and now it's because I'm wrapped up in things that I want to see through before I stop moving. I would rather not get into details, simply on the grounds that some of it's kind of personal and sensitive.
That makes sense. That's fine. Adventuring parties are allowed to have a little bit of secrets every now and then.
I mean, the ones that get tied up in, like those ones you hear about in legends or whatever, who wind up going on weird save the world stories. They probably have to keep a crap ton of secrets just to make sure the bad guys don't show up and be like, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Is that how the bad guys go?
I don't know. I have a big dog breathing down my neck. Give me a break.
You do. On that, and she turns around and looks
Just a
at
wet, slobbery lick up the side of the face.
And what about you?
What?
What's your story?
Why should I tell you?
Fair. I'm just a curious sort. I like to know
Then
things.
she's like,
Yeah, I've already dealt with someone like you.
then she's like, everyone who just told me their story, here's 100 gold, except for you, because no one was making you.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. Not the talkative sort. I get it. I do think your puppy there is rather cute.
Not a puppy!
It's a term of endearment.
Why is no one scared of this giant black direwolf? It's a direwolf.
Because dog.
Because you have trained him well, Riven. That's why.
I have not trained him well enough,
He did not
apparently.
rip Locke to shreds. Thus we are not afraid.
Fine.
And she's like, challenge accepted. Get him!
I'm gonna go get some mail.
You do that. You do
Yeah.
that. Your friend's already waiting over there.
Yeah.
What's the quality of the ale at this stand? Like, they got like IPAs and stuff, or is it like Coors?
I mean, it's of a fairly decent quality. It's a notch above what you were getting at the earlier part of the evening at the Sparkling Wishes, but yeah, it's fairly decent quality. And as the party really starts to get going, if you go over there to get ale, you are told by the drow bartender who's over there, same bartender from the Sparkling Wishes, he's don't worry about paying for it. Everyone who chooses to come to this party generally has to pay at the door to get in here, except for you guys.
So, I get free ale.
Don't go crazy with it, buddy.
My friend, it's already too late. Hit me with your best stuff.
Really? Are you sure about that?
Yes.
I like the brief pause. Like he actually had to consider. Like, am I sure? Yes, I am.
All right then.
This is
Mama
this is
Bjorn
not
didn't
a-
raise no bitch.
She raised something, but it wasn't a bitch.
All right then. And he will prepare a drink. And what for you then? As he looks at Riven, who comes up.
Ale, just give me ale.
All right. Okay, Riven, you have your ale, and Bjorn, you have something that does not look like alcohol at all.
Oh, it's water, isn't it?
It is.
I'm pretty sure Bjorn's had this before.
You probably did.
Well, he considers. How close does the party seem to being ready to get into swing?
You look back to the stage and to everyone else, and you see that there is an older gentleman, a human, seems to be making his way up the stage. He's sort of keeping an eye out on the town. Gives a passing glance to you and your party, and then you see the more lion tabaxi is there talking to him briefly, and there might be a speech or two coming up in the next couple minutes, but you're still free to take a swig of water if you wish.
The question is, will Bjorn have enough time to acclimate? But he's ordered the drink already, so... Bjorn is a man of commitment. He takes the drink.
Alrighty.
Where do you take it?
Into my gut.
Roll for me a con save.
Regardless of the outcome, I want you to know that Bjorn performs this action with the utmost confidence.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yep. You are immediately aware that this is in fact water. The drink that you know is exceptionally alcoholic, even though it doesn't seem like it should be. And though you aren't just full on passing out, you are immediately very tipsy and woozy, and yeah. It's like, skip the part of the buzz to the slightly disoriented.
Ooh. Well, that's the stuff, alright.
Alrighty.
What did you just have?
Get her one.
Uh-oh.
What?
Please get me a nail so I can regain my senses.
Okay, sure.
Will you drink an ale to dilute the water you've been drinking?
This is the idea.
It's a very strong drink. One of the strongest around. I'm not going to say that your inebriated friend is speaking for you, but if you wish to have it, you can.
What is it?
It's water.
We simply call it water.
Does Riven remember
Or wisdom.
when she had water?
Or wisdom. Yes,
17.
you do. had it?
No. No, thank you. Nope. Nope.
I remember.
I remember.
Doesn't it turn you into a navigator?
No.
So he smiles and fair enough. Good head on your shoulders. I mean, it's fun to watch, but we're going to have quite a bit of entertainment here anyway without somebody getting wasted. But he does give you another ale.
At least make getting wasted a gradual thing, not all at once. It's no fun to watch other people go nuts if it's all at once. The gradual decline is part of the fun.
Does Locke actually say that?
I mean, he likes watching people get smashed. He just doesn't like being smashed himself.
Right.
And I just realized that out of context, that line. I don't know.
So
Okay, Locke. Locke prefers to pass.
So, as you are over at the bar, and the rest of the party is doing whatever it is you're doing, the little gnome wanders off as you guys are doing what you need to do, and Oak sort of watches her briefly and goes, "That is an odd little character." Huh. Shakes his head. Yeah. The older fellow, sort of a bit of receding hairline, salt and pepper hair, scruffy but well kempt, so like short, stubby beard. And he will grab at what essentially is the fantasy world equivalent of a microphone. I don't know precisely what it looks like, but it would be a device that is enchanted with built-in thaumaturgy.
It's a wand of thaumaturgy.
I mean, yeah, essentially. And he makes of use of that to speak above the din of everybody else that's doing various things, and he's welcome everyone to the wonderful party to celebrate the return of Unrae Amaril. She was rescued by a wonderful adventuring party. I see some of them have already gotten into the festivities around here, as he looks to the crowd. In particular to Bjorn and Hollis and Locke. Regardless, we shall have a wonderful celebration. Anyone who is not accustomed to our parties around here, we do request that you take a moment to at least try to dance with someone new. Doesn't have to be any kind of commitment or anything, of course. You're just meeting with somebody else, having a bit of fun. That is what we're all here for, right? And he sort of steps to the side as some music starts up. Riven and Locke, you guys will recognize the sort of short-statured gnome and halfling band known as Bamf from before.
Jeez.
And
Okay.
the dwarven folks that sort of did the stomp sort of motif. There's a lot of performances going on around here. Mudslide immediately is off the stage and joining with the guards as all the performance start up, because she is not the dancing type. She's not that kind of graceful. She's graceful moving through waves of enemies in combat, not dancing. Unrae will actually do a bit of a performance, make use of her bardic abilities and magic to sort of float around the crowd, levitation and other such things. And there's a brief moment where she gives she makes eye contact with Riven in the crowd.
Nope, extra drink. Give me 2 more ales. 2 more ales.
Hot person looking at me, can't have that.
So
Nope.
yeah, you do get a couple ales, and then you hear in your head Unrae's voice. Want to go for a bit of a flight, Riven?
Nope. 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 I've been on a flight before. Nope. Nope. I'm. No. Thank you. No, thank you. Let me just enjoy my ale, please. But you should do Locke. Just do it. He needs payback.
The laughing thing I did on you was payback for picking on me.
Yes.
How? When will this cycle of vengeance end?
Never. Isn't that what best friends are supposed to do?
So Locke, you hear
It's
in
just
your
gonna
head. Locke, you hear in your head. Riven wanted me to offer you the chance to go flying like some of these other partygoers that I've sent into the air briefly. How graceful are you?
Not. At all.
Y'all are no fun.
I just don't look. If I'm picked up and start being carried around in the sky, I'm going to scream, and then everyone's going to look at me, and I'm just going to be incredibly embarrassed, and that would just not be good for the atmosphere. Okay.
I get it. All this is done in your mind as she is floating and spinning in the air herself.
Now Bjorn, on the other hand, I get the feeling he would actually get a kick out of that.
Sorry, who's actually speaking about flying?
Unrae.
Unrae. She's flying about and stuff.
She's making use of magic to speak in people's heads.
Let's get drunk, Bjorn flying.
Fair enough. Bjorn! You hear in your head.
Yeah. Hello.
Wanna go
Hello.
Wanna go for a flight?
Hello.
Why did that sound like the Joe Biden hello meme?
A flight. How much? I think that sounds a wonderful idea. And in real life, you guys see Bjorn. He starts breathing a bit more heavily. It takes like a deep drink from his tankard of ale.
Locke is gonna lean over to Cad. How much do you want to bet Bjorn's not going to be alive in the morning?
Cad takes this very seriously. His eyes get really big, and he gets ready to try and catch him.
No, not because of the flying. Because of the alcohol.
Oak, can you dispel poisons?
No, God damn it!
No.
I was joking.
Oh,
Meanwhile, Bjorn thinks, make me fly. Send me to the skies.
And off in the back, Skunk is picking up the bongo rhythm. He's really going to town now.
All right.
But I like to imagine that Bjorn is really drunk, so he says, send me to the skies out loud.
Fair enough.
Riven's like, what?
So as Riven looks on and he's like, and she's what? Bjorn will begin to float off of his stool.
I have been chosen.
Going to a greater thing.
You just watch Bjorn float higher and higher into the sky as he keeps drinking.
That was just the goofiest fucking giggle. That's beautiful. That fucking laugh.
So you're flying around, Bjorn,
Yep.
and as you begin to fly, you see one of the there's a little halfling male, probably from the band Banff from before, that sort of takes a stance next to where Unrae is floating in the air, and he will sort of wave his hands for a bit, and joining the crew of other people that are flying in the air, including you, Mudslide's floating too, and she floats over to you. She kind of swims, whoosh, whoosh.
Right.
And now you are effectively, however proficient you are with it, dancing with Mudslide in the air.
Ooh, is that a performance check? Is that what that is?
Yep.
Would it be a disadvantage due to inebriation?
Yes, it would.
I should fucking hope so.
You know what? But I'm in the air.
That would
Even
make
worse.
it
Every
even
element.
more difficult.
Ah, no.
But
Okay.
nothing can hold him back now.
It's true. Gravity is no longer limiting my power.
You need to dance.
Fuck.
Critical fail. Yes. So this whole session is just chaos, is what this is.
Riven is now like rushing over to the rest of the group with 2 ales in her hand, going like, guys, he's flying, and he drank water. He drank water.
Locke
She
is
hands-
actually going to take one of those ales, like, you know what? Fuck it. This is worth it.
I was going to say, Riven walks up, sees
You
Bjorn.
owe me an ale.
I pass you a few coins. Go get one.
They're free.
Take my coins back. Go get one. I thought those were for like the group.
Riven walks up, hands them to someone. Someone hold my ales, I'm going to get more.
So Locke actually is going to take a swig of ale.
He won't take one of Riven's because I thought that one of those was actually meant for like whoever wanted to get.
No,
get one.
she ordered 2 more when Unrae was like, come fly.
So he'll quickly go over, get a nail for himself, and return when he sees Bjorn going up.
Oak, save him. He drank water.
No, leave it. This is gonna be great.
I remember drinking water. I fell on my face. I couldn't remember that night.
Yes, that's what makes it great.
I think he'll be.
He won't
fine.
remember, but we will.
Let him go through the experience. Whatever he does, he will not regret, for he will not remember, and it will be hilarious for the rest of us.
He's dancing with Mudslide. Don't you think he should remember that?
Oak sort of looks up and sees how Bjorn is constantly bumping into Mudslide like bumper cars instead of actually being able to dance gracefully in the air. Because that one.
Is he just like backflipping the entire time, just like really slowly rotating in the air?
Yes.
I hope not, because he still has a glass of liquids with him.
But you also rolled that natural one.
I did.
Watch me spin!
He
Backflip.
flips upside down, grabs her ankle, and starts dancing.
I like to imagine that at a certain point, Bjorn realizes
hell?
that he is making a fool of himself.
Does he though?
Realizes how fun it is.
Locke shouts
He'd
out,
have
"You're
to.
doing great, buddy!"
Because he's going to lean into it.
Okay.
He's going to drunkenly slur an apology at Mudslide. I'm sorry. I know I'm... Listen, if we play this right, we can make this really good.
Oh no!
And then he's just going to start flailing worse.
How high in the air is Bjorn?
Higher than the kite.
Maybe. Maybe about 20, 30 feet or so. Not well, closer to 20 feet probably.
Okay, if at any point he starts drifting over my head, if he's 20 feet up, that means he will be within reach of Mage Hand, and I would like to use that to just gently spin him.
The bleak angle.
Just like put a hand on his shoulder and just make him turn a bit.
Hey.
And just let his lack of control over his own momentum be his undoing.
Wow.
Alright, that's fine.
Look, Locke is leading into the chaos at this point.
So
Everything's just.
Mudside only rolled an 11 for her performance. Her dancing is not necessarily graceful either, but she sort of keeps pace with Bjorn and keeps a grip on him to keep him from floating way up into more La La Land than he is mentally.
Because he is definitely trying to fly higher. So
Yes, we must go to the skies.
they call to me.
So yeah, you guys,
Can
Mudslide.
Riven look at what is Unrae doing?
Unrae's just dancing. She's now back on. She is now back on the ground on the stage itself, and she just continues dancing. You see her. She sort of waves her hands, and a couple other people at different intervals will get up and be dancing in their own places. There's a lot of dancing going on now in general, and some of it is in the sky.
Riven's just gonna kind of gesture them. They're like, someone help them.
Someone help them, they're dying.
Well, she's trying to get Oak to do some sort of restoration.
What's wrong, dear? You hear in your head from Unrae.
Wait, who hears it?
You do. Riven does.
He drank water. And look at him.
And he'll be perfectly fine.
Are you sure? Because I know what water's effects are. And he's pretty high.
He'll be fine. Other people here are controlling his flight. He's not going to go flying too far. Trust me.
Jeez.
It's not as if we turned off gravity to allow him to fly. Some of my friends here are allowing him to fly.
Yes, but he's saying that he's been chosen.
That's just the ale talk.
It's the water talking.
How about you come up here and dance with me? It'll calm you down.
Nope.
Alright.
And she's like, nope. I have. Nope. I don't. Nope.
So perhaps you would rather dance without all the crowd. Is that it?
No.
Maybe.
My better judgment is not here. So please leave a message after the beep. Ah!
My better judgment is not here. Please leave a message after the
The
beep.
beep.
This
scream.
entire session is just a treasure trove of nothing happening and everything happening, and I love it.
So, Riven,
Yes.
It's like our beach episode, isn't it? That's what this is. This is our beach episode.
I mean,
No, something devastating is probably going to happen.
so Riven, you feel a brief touch, a soft touch on your cheek. It's just, calm down. I'll leave you alone. If you don't want to have any fun.
She's just she's probably red in the face. Just it's again, you are a pretty lady. I have a commitment to keep.
Oh. Alright then. I understand. And she continues dancing.
Riven's gonna just down her 2 ales.
You're still far from having real issues yourself, considering you specifically avoided water.
I should be on number 4, actually.
Yeah.
So what about the 1 ale Locke went and got to watch Bjorn fucking over everything?
Con save, Locke.
Okay.
You don't get the like threshold of everyone else. You hit it in 1, so go. Yeah.
10.
You feel very, I guess for Locke, since he's never really experienced it, you feel kind of sick.
I have made a terrible mistake.
Pretty true to real life, honestly.
Cad picks up Locke by the shoulders and
Save for me making the mistake of drinking the Sam Adams, straight from Sam Adams a bit too fast. I, generally speaking, am pretty good about handling at least small amounts of alcohol. That was just because I chugged it too fast.
But you probably did that here, actually.
Yeah, that's basically what happened with Locke. You just drank a bit too quick. It was like, I've made a terrible mistake.
Any Noke?
Does Riven see Oak drinking his ale?
Oh, Oak's drinking as well. He's fine.
I meant Locke. Does Riven see Locke?
Yes.
Drinking
she would've
ale.
saw that, yes.
Finally, you might get some chest hairs on you now.
I'm 7.
Huh?
I'm 17.
And in half health, there's a joke there.
There is?
Well, most elves are kind of like prim and proper, and it's like kind of like that they're like, there's no body hair on them. They're not manly, but yet.
Yeah. Locke's just gonna shrug.
So, the party continues. Bjorn, you're dancing in the air, not very gracefully, but you're there.
Not very implies there's at least a little grace, and I think that's being a bit generous given the circumstances.
Who all votes to just leave him to be babysat by Mudslide for the rest of the night?
Probably. I mean, that's the best bet here. And eventually,
I was saying, should we take a vote?
I mean, if you want to vote with the rest of the party, Oak's all for it.
Locke, Cad?
Uh,
Do we just leave Bjorn with Mudslide?
I mean,
Seems
I kind of want to see how this ends.
I mean, we'll watch and stuff, but he just... we're not watching him afterwards once we're done.
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, he has been chosen. It would only be right that we let that choice, the consequences of that choice, sink in.
Okay.
And as it were, as the levitate spell and fly spell wears off, and Bjorn will slowly descend to the ground because he's not controlling his descent. The others on stage are. As he slowly comes to the ground, there's this not quite graceful moment, but a bit where Mudslide will be holding him as they land on the ground.
Go take a nap.
Bjorn's just the biggest grin on his face, like, today I have soared as my ancestors do.
Mudslide sort of just looks at you as she's holding you in her arms, and so your ancestors have wings then? Is that it?
No, they're ghosts, I think.
Ah.
But good ghosts. Honorable ghosts.
Flying ghosts.
Sometimes they appear in your dreams. They're very helpful.
You didn't strike me for a ancient barbarian, but okay.
And Bjorn starts looking around like, there's gotta be food here too. We should get food.
Of course there's food. Come on. And she will set you down.
I have a fish. I said I have a fish.
You already did that.
You watch
I know,
just, like,
we
all the
still
hairs
have-
on the back of Bjorn's neck just suddenly stand up.
So I don't think we'll need to worry about that fish before. We've already had that.
It was a side comment out of character.
Okay, good.
Oh man, I just had a horrible idea.
What?
Give the fish to Skunk.
Oh no.
That would be interesting.
Would be. I don't actually know what his worst fear is. He's not really afraid of a whole lot. Actually, wait, no, I do know what he's afraid of.
It's
I was gonna say, there were definitely a few things.
so regardless.
He's
you
afraid of
guys-
gelatinous cubes,
Yes.
Jiggle,
and he's
jiggle.
afraid of being eaten,
Fair.
which is kind of ironic because he's usually the one doing all of the eating,
That's why it unnerves him to have the role reversed.
right?
So you have other people are dancing and carrying on, and the party sort of starts to wind down a little bit. There's a few heavily drunk folks, maybe not quite as much as Bjorn. Although there were a few folks that got into water as well. Some of them seem to do a little bit better.
Mm.
In particular, Riven, if you were hanging out mostly near the bar for all of it, not wanting to go out into the dancing where everybody else was,
Yeah, probably.
you do see that this fellow here. Whoop, I hit the wrong button. I want this and then that.
Aslan. That's real. That's what he looks like.
I mean, yeah, kinda. Very broad-shouldered, muscular, lion tabaxi. He's got scars along the front of his chest. Chest fully exposed. He's not even wearing a shirt. And he will down a few ales as well. He also, much like Riven, not a part of all the dancing.
That's fine.
And he will down a few ales. He will down water, and just takes it in stride. And he will sort of look to you, Riven.
What?
You're in a party with that one, yeah? One dancing with Mudslide?
Yes.
He's an interesting fella, isn't he?
He's drunk.
Well, yes, but many people are here.
It could be drunker.
I
He
could
sorta
be more drunk.
He sort of gestures to the drow. You have free ale if you want it.
I've been drinking ale.
Want something stronger? He has that. Doesn't have to be as strong as water if you don't want that. You just seemed a little nervous. Everyone else around here is looser. So
People.
don't like people,
Person.
huh?
People.
Don't like people, huh?
It's crowd.
I see.
I don't like crowds.
Nothing wrong with that.
God. Yeah, sure. She'll go for something stronger.
All right.
I'm just
So
trying to think of based off of 4 ales, how bad her judgment is of what she's drinking.
She's not too far gone. She hasn't even got her con saves yet. At least not until she
I
drinks
know.
what she just got.
Sure.
Alrighty. Con save for you. So you're not wasted. You're not plastered or anything crazy just out of the gate like that. But you do tend to loosen up. You get pretty tipsy from that particular drink.
You see, you may have drank water, but it was just a cup. I drank half a bottle once,
Water's pretty good.
and
Has a great taste.
What? Water is water. They say water is good for you.
Well, that water's different.
You should have 8 8-ounce glasses a day.
Water is water.
Water.
Water is water. And yes, crowds, people, person. I don't know. Yeah.
Don't be afraid to not have a little bit of fun. That's all I'm saying.
What is a crowd?
So go off on your own. Some people are already doing that. He points up to the side, and you see that a few others in the crowd are making their way further from the marketplace to have a little bit of their own space.
I gotta watch these knuckleheads.
I mean him.
I came to help them. Huh?
I mean
Who?
him. Points a thumb towards Bjorn.
He's a big knucklehead. I don't know him really well. He doesn't seem too bad. No.
I'm sure he and your Loxodon friend can take care of themselves. Maybe not the shrimp.
I don't know about the Loxodon either. I just met him not too long ago. It's the scrawny twerp and the blue one.
Those are the only ones you know?
Yes. I want another drink.
Slide you a drink. The drow does.
Thank you. Good. Paid. Eh.
Oh no, what did you do?
Oh,
I
that's
rolled
bad.
7.
Okay, that's what
I
you
got
did. Okay.
worse.
Yep, you did get worse.
Ah, this is nothing. Nothing.
It's really not. He has
Nope.
another. He has another swig of water. Just not a care in the world.
Eat better stuff.
Hey, pass.
I just lost my train of thought. Shoot.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And yeah, you're drunk as fuck. That makes perfect sense. I think we all just kind of zoned out there for a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's fine.
It is just. Riven's slowly getting much drunker and drunker.
So
We're trying to recover.
after a point, it does start to die down a little bit.
Oh, I know.
Uh-oh.
You know, that little twerp over there,
Mm-hmm.
he's got a dragon in his pocket.
What now?
He's got a dragon in his pocket. Yep.
What?
Precisely
We
how does
send-
that work?
I don't know, but we take gold. Oh, I have money. I need to go get money.
Oh, now I know what you're talking about. You see, you said he's got a dragon in his pocket, and I thought you meant like
Yes.
an actual fucking like dragon I just pull out of my pocket for things like. No, I fucking don't. But now I remember. Oh yeah, the mob boss we're indebted to.
Yes.
Well, who we came to the city to help to work on trying to repay with a get rich quick scheme that we still need to work on.
Right. And yes, every now and then we put money in a bag, and it's supposed to be for later that we can call upon this dragon. Yes, we're friends. We're friends with the dragon. I don't think you can beat that.
I wouldn't even dream of it.
Bah.
I stopped all my fighting years ago.
Bah.
I did wrestle an owlbear once. That was fun.
I killed a manticore. Almost
Manticore?
died too.
Manticores
I-
aren't challenging.
I-
is it? with
I
enough-
have the scars here to prove it.
Manticores aren't too big of a challenge with the right friends around.
I was by myself.
Oh.
One-on-one. Yes. Took it off a cliff.
Did you have your little dog friend back then as well?
Nope. No, he was tiny. He was tiny then. Very tiny.
We might want to share a few stories.
Give me a drink and we will.
What drink would you like?
A drink.
I'll be nice and not give you water right yet. I don't think you could handle that.
Water's nothing. Nothing. It's nothing.
Based on our conversation prior to you downing a few, I don't think I need to give you that right now.
Nah. I've had courage. I have courage now. Courage.
He passes you another ale. It's clearly not water, but he does have another glass of water. He does have another glass of water that's next to him.
That's fine. It just takes whatever is slid to her and she'll drink it.
Mhm.
Hey.
I mean, yeah.
A 20. 2 rolls too late.
See? I told you. It's nothing. It's nothing.
So are you gonna go dance with the Unrae now?
What?
What?
It doesn't have to mean anything. It's just friends.
She's going to be like, Unrae is a very pretty lady. Yes. Very
Yeah.
pretty.
She's a very pretty lady that generally gets what she wants, but she's not going to force herself on anyone.
You know, she has a
DM,
cat.
did you
Go on.
I was just gonna ask if Dara saw the little thing I posted in the Roll20 chat.
Did your Discord chat? Oh yeah, I saw the skunk left. That's
No,
fine.
before that.
The skunk wandered off.
I mean, he's on the prowl for food. If that brings him into contact with any member of the party, so be it. I'm kind of half hoping someone will feed him the trippy fish.
Well,
You're
whoever
actively
has
angling for that
The
now.
bag of whoever has the bag of holding has the trippy fish.
So yeah, we'll get to skunk in a second. So the lion tabaxi just smiles and
She did very good. Very good. Where is she? I will bring her an L.
oh, she's had quite a few herself already. She's fine.
Bah!
But if you want to bring her one, I'm sure she'll take it.
Okay. She has a cat. A magical cat, you know that?
Oh,
I don't know you. What? Who are you? I don't know you. Who are you?
I'm just a friend. You mean this magical cat? Snaps his fingers and there's a magical cat on the counter.
Kitty! And she goes and tries to touch it. And pets it.
He's an illusion. You can't touch him right now. Well, you can't touch him at all. He's not real.
Her hand just keeps going through. I'd be like, why can't I pet the kitty?
Because he's not real. He's magical.
Fuck magic. I want to pet kitty.
Well, I'm sure you can find some around here.
Got a big dog
Oh,
right behind you. What's that?
I mean, you also have your large dire wolf back there. You can pet him.
Alice! Alice! Come here!
He very easily does.
She's gonna lean on him. I don't know. I did 2 L's. 2 L's.
You have your 2 elves. The lion
Okay.
tabaxi snaps his fingers and the cat disappears.
Oh, where'd kitty go?
It's back.
Where'd the kitty? Straight to bed again.
How embarrassed do you think Hollis is?
Probably she's just like going back between Hollis and the cat. Just like back and forth.
I bet Hollis has no fucking idea what's going on, but he's here for it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Eventually.
Eventually.
We'll wander
Yeah,
over.
eventually. Yeah, eventually Riven was going to go find Unrae and be like, here's a nail for your performance. Well, but it was very good. She tries to seem like she's sobering up. Like, at least some dignity.
So you're giving me an ale?
Yes.
That means I have to give you something, doesn't it? Isn't it? The performance was for everyone else, but you're giving me specifically an ale. It means I need to give you something.
I'm giving you a nail because of the performance. Ah?
Riven.
What?
I just want one dance, dear. Just one.
I can't dance.
Everyone can dance.
What am I?
Did
You're
you
a
just ask,
dancer.
where am I?
I said what am I?
A dancer.
No. I am tree people.
How about we make a deal then?
What?
Nothing will come of it. Other people are going to have their own nights after this dance. Your friend Bjorn, surely. But,
He's a big boy. He can take care of himself.
he won't have to take
All
care of
as
him.
well. She's just like almost fully leaning on Hollis.
Unrae smirks and goes, he won't have to take care of himself if Mudslide has anything to say about it.
Well, let them have fun. They can have fun.
I just want one dance. That's it. Doesn't have to be in front of the crowd if you don't want it to.
Not in the crowd, please.
That's perfectly fine.
No crowd.
That's
No crowd.
perfect-
No crowd.
That's perfectly fine. She offers out her hand to you.
And she'll take it.
I got your hand.
Dimension door. You're nowhere near the marketplace.
Oh, Hollis is by himself now.
Oh no!
Awesome.
Locke will pacify Hollis with Mage Hand just to keep him from getting
my God.
antsy. Just immediately start petting him, just like, yeah, she'll be back, probably? I don't know. This whole day has been weird.
Yeah,
Alright.
Hollis just like wanders up to Locke like with a little bit of a whine.
And Locke will just start Mage Hand petting him.
And his worries are gone.
Yeah, I know.
It's like, I'm safe. People I like. I'm safe.
I'm safe. The Magic Man is doing his magic.
So, give me a performance, Riven.
Okay. I nail this, I swear.
You would have disadvantage.
Oh,
You are drunk.
Oh no. I could roll 2 20s in a row.
Roll 2 20s.
Why am I... It's
Nope.
That is a 6.
And she's like constantly like looking down like that was dizzying. What did you do? Where's everyone? Where'd they go?
We're in a
You're
nice,
very pretty.
We're in a nice, quiet place, Riven. Just dance with me. Performance for Miss Unrae. Boom.
Oh, she is leaning and Kevin is just like, okay.
Where the hell that plus 15 come from?
That would probably be a level 20 character.
Nope. She's not.
She's
just has
not?
She just has like double expertise.
Oh no, she's barred. She's barred.
She is barred. She has, she is at least level enough to get proficiency 5, which is not quite 20, but close. Proficiency 5, charisma 5, expertise 5, 15.
So then here's my question. She has that incredible amount of stuff. Why the hell did we need to rescue her?
She has skills, but she's not exactly the most durable individual. She could be knocked out, and if her magic is stopped, she's a bit screwed.
I guess.
Yeah.
Hey.
It's reasonable to assume that perhaps the ones that captured her are not necessarily the ones that you fought.
Right.
But anyway,
So, yeah, Riven just is gonna let her just lead, and she's just following behind as best she can, and apologizing if she steps on feet, and just keeps complimenting her.
They're pretty.
alrighty,
Yes.
fair enough. And then following that, the party will come to an end. Riven, you will be walked back, seeing as how you didn't like the dimension door that traveled you somewhere.
No, it's just she doesn't know. She doesn't understand magic.
Oh, I know.
That's it.
I
She
still
doesn't
remember
care that.
I still remember the time Locke had an entire conversation with her about how the planes in the multiverse works. That stemmed from him asking her what her favorite color was.
Yes.
Yes. So eventually the party dies down.
I need to go back and listen to that because that was hilarious.
Yeah, it
Yes,
was.
it was.
And it was also just in general a good conversation. It was good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And stuff.
And
Like
right-
she's scared. She's like she's like more comfortable outside of the crowd now and stuff until she's just like, okay, I can do this.
So things sort of die down for the night. And you guys will travel to the Sparkling Wishes. Those of you who don't have another place that you're staying, Bjorn. And you will wake up the following morning. Those who have had more than one drink are probably in a hangover, and if Oak is nearby, you're going to get lesser restoration so that you're okay.
Oak.
Cad, or not Cad, Bjorn, you wake up with a massive headache. You are near Mudslide again. You are with her.
Mm-hmm.
Much the same as before, except this time you kind of know a little bit better of where you're at.
Do I remember the evening?
Roll me a wisdom save at disadvantage.
Oh, good. All right. Oh, actually,
You remember there was an evening.
last night probably exists.
Oh wow! Look
man.
at that nat 20 that you dropped.
I'm sad.
Oh, it's a bit fuzzy.
Yeah, it's fairly fuzzy. You know that there was a party. You know there was a lot of crowds. You feel like you might have flown. That's weird.
I have ascended.
And yeah, it was a great night. You remember dancing with Mudslide. You don't think you danced very well, but she sort of carried you, two of you.
All right. Well, that
In
works.
more
That
ways
works.
than one, perhaps. So you wake up. She's nearby. Unrae knows how to party, doesn't she?
I'll say I can barely remember it.
Yeah, me neither.
Wait.
Well, let's get you back to your friends, Sparkling Wishes. I assume that the bunch of you's got things you got to do today.
Unfortunately, yes. We should get breakfast first.
We can get breakfast.
Yay!
We can get breakfast at the tavern.
Who wants donuts?
And I'm sure your friend Oak is a healer. He can fix. And she sort of just gestures at her head, and yeah, she's had that sort of issues herself as well.
The hangover.
What's
Okay.
survival for Skunk?
Skunk's survival skill.
though. I forgot
One.
to roll a cons.
Roll survival for Skunk.
I also forgot to roll another con save.
11.
It's a little bit difficult to find like wayward meat in an urban setting, but you do eventually find some, maybe some like city rats and vermin that you can get into to get some.
Wasn't there like at the party like a stall that just sold meat that was fresh cooked?
Oh yeah, there's that. If you want to go that
And
route.
he would have got, but he would have gone for that. Skunk can and will eat raw meat, but he prefers it cooked. It tastes better.
Fair enough. Yeah. So you get some food. The group will wake up the following morning. Eventually, Bjorn and Mudslide will make their way to the tavern for you guys, and Oak will make use of higher level spell slots for lesser restoration to let Mudslide and Bjorn be coherent again. Bjorn,
Yes.
when you went to the party, did you take all your gear?
Oh no.
Had we acquired in rooms before we went to the party?
No. I don't think we did.
No.
No, you would have not.
Then I don't know where else I would have left it other than me.
Alright. When you sort of come to and you're more coherent enough, Mudslide didn't really pick up on it because from her perspective, you could have left some of your gear at an inn somewhere, at the inn or so.
Mhm.
But you very quickly, once you come to your senses more, you realize your sword's gone.
Oh no.
Not going to panic. Bjorn is taking deep breaths and he's like, Mudslide,
Hmm.
when we were dancing in the sky, I was armed, yes?
Yeah. It sort of made you spinning around and catching you a little difficult. Yeah, I do remember that.
At what point do you recall did I stop being armed?
Nope.
Locke only ever had the one ale, so he was sober through the whole thing. Did he see anything?
No, he wouldn't have saw anything.
Okay.
I don't know. You had it when you were in the air, and then I took you. We went back to my house, my apartment, I guess.
Definitely unarmed then.
I don't think you had the sword then. That's weird. I don't remember. It's fuzzy for me too. It's
Bjorn stands up and says, I have something I must do. And he calmly walks to the door, and once he's outside, he goes on a full sprint back to where the party occurred.
okay. Anyone gonna follow him?
Sure, Locke will go after him. He likes Bjorn, and he sees Bjorn being displeased. And he thinks that to mean that something is amiss.
Riven is just extremely quiet.
Are you gonna follow, or are you just quiet in the tavern?
she's red faced and quiet, and she's just like sees some guy and be like, are we going somewhere? I guess we're going somewhere. Okay.
Cad's like gently pushing in his chair and looking over at Riven.
Hi. They're leaving. Let's go. We got money to go.
We got money to go. English
Yeah,
is a language, yes. I speak it.
No, you don't speak English. You speak common. Get it right.
Hominids.
So yeah, Cad.
Wait, did Bjorn say that he lost his weapon?
No, he just suddenly got very distressed looking and left,
Oh,
and Locke
okay.
followed him because he looked distressed.
He
Okay.
did ask, like, Mudslide out loud
Yeah,
if
That
he knew
com-
when he'd stopped being armed.
that conversation was out loud. So you
Is
make your
Cad armed?
Do
Cad
what?
has his maul. He's fine.
Do I have my axes?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
So, yeah, you will make your way back to where the party had occurred. You see some of the other officials and like guards, and some of the ones that had set up the stalls. Not a lot of them, but some of the ones that had set up the stalls are sort of repurposing them back into their standard like food stalls and other things to get the marketplace back to its normal state.
I suppose I would approach one of the guards.
Oh, hello.
Yes, hello. I was in attendance at the party last night.
Oh yeah,
And
we
I
remember
had-
you. Nice flight.
Oh, thank you. I remember it fondly. But I seem to have run into a problem that a possession of mine, a sword of some importance, you see, has, at some point during the evening's festivities, I've lost track of it. I don't suppose anyone's seen it about.
Not lately, no. Not here anyway. I mean, from what I remember hearing about, tales of your flight and things, you have a rather fancy sword. It would be something that would stick out, I'm assuming.
Yes, I would assume so as well. No common blade. Alright. I'm just going to look around then.
Go right ahead. You can search around if you need to. We're just cleaning up here.
I want to make an investigation check to scour the area.
Alrighty. Do so.
17.
So with the 17, you sort of scour the area a little bit. You look around at the various different stalls. Yeah. Like the guard said, they haven't seen your sword, and you don't really see it either. Not among the stalls, anyway.
Do I remember the route that Mudslide and I took to go find food and then go to her place?
You're sober now, thanks to lesser restoration, which is good. So you wouldn't necessarily have to remember the route to it, but you would remember the route that you took when you went back to the Sparkling Wishes. So
Okay.
you can sort of easily triangulate. This is the trek you would have had to make to go from the market to her house, if you went from her house to the Dazzling Tiara Dazzling Wishes this way. So yeah.
Alright. I guess then I'm going down that path and looking for what I can find.
Alrighty.
With a stormy expression on my face.
I would imagine.
Is everything okay?
Yeah. There you go.
I appear to have misplaced my sword. And
well,
it is-
that's not good.
No, no, I must retrieve it immediately. It has a great importance. And start moving along the path, looking around, peeking under bushes and moving crates aside.
Alright.
I guess Locke will join in the search. We can't have the group's paladin be, unarmed. That would just be bad. That'd be bad for business.
Well, who all did you talk to, Bjorn? I'm asking who all did you talk to throughout the night? We can start questioning them. Well, Mudslide's clear. Clearly.
Short stuff.
Well, Mudslide said I still had the sword when we were in the air.
Mm-hmm. We can find the short girl with the weird pink hair.
I will say, I pretty much had eyes on what everyone was doing for the entire time we were in, the heart of the party. And near as I can tell, you had your sword with you the entire time, so you would have lost it after you left that sort of region. So I don't think if anyone who is present at the main party would have any meaningful information.
That's the thing, pretty much everyone was here from the town. I'm just trying to think of eliminate the people that he interacted with.
And Oak speaks up and he's like, well, even if Riven has a point. Even if he didn't lose it at the party, someone that he interacted with at the party could have had something to do with why it's gone. Even if they didn't take it at the party where everybody was watching, it's still possible. that something happened after he left.
Yes, but no one would have
Still have his
foolish-
scarf.
Yeah, I mean, I should sell the scarf, right?
Oh, your scarf?
Yeah, where'd you get the scarf from?
Well, I bought it from one of the vendors at the party before things even really got started.
Here's an interesting thing.
Okay, well,
that's
something to go talk to.
Here's an interesting
So there's
thing.
a little girl.
Bjorn, or David, I guess. Roll me a D2.
A D2? Oh, we're getting fancy. Alright, I gotta go into my advanced dice roller.
Yep. Or you can slash R space 1D2. You can do that too.
/R space
Space.
1D2.
Yeah.
Yep, okay. It's a 1.
Yeah, you don't have your scarf.
Huh.
Well, that's an unfortunate loss. You just got that thing.
Curious. I'm gonna abandon searching. I'm gonna go straight to Mudslide's house, and I'm gonna just kind of look around and see if there's any sign that maybe someone entered a way that they're not supposed to.
Okay.
Would you like help in that investigation?
Yeah. Yeah, Bjorn will ask for help, of course.
All right, then Locke will assist him.
Gad will too.
Investigation with advantage, or whoever out of the bunch has the best investigation.
Probably not gonna be me.
Not me.
Let me check Locke's, because I think Locke actually has a pretty decent investigation. Nope, never mind. His investigation is as good as his perception, which is 1.
Alright, I guess we'll just... You said it's with advantage, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
because you're being helped.
Okay.
I'll have Oak roll it because you guys
Okay.
are all together. Because Oak has a fantastic investigation because Bard. Boop.
Lovely. That's much
Nice.
better.
So you guys get to looking. You're looking around, and Oak's like, "Okay, that's weird."
What's
What?
weird?
Okay, look, and he will show you like there was a like next to Mudside's home. She has got like an alleyway because she's like this little home apartment type situation. She's one of those places where you can't really see the town when you look out the window. Her house has windows, but you look out the window and you see just like the house next door, the building next door. It's not necessarily in the best place if you want to have a room with a view. But at one of the alleyways next to that window, Oak will find a like scuff marks on boxes, and there's signs that the window to her house has been tampered with. Like with the 20, Oak is pretty much able to discern that the window was broken into. The latch was not broken, it was just sort of bent, as if it was done with more lock-picking type situations than with like raw strength of breaking the window. So somebody clearly snuck into Mudslide's window.
Does he point this out?
Yes, he will point this out to the rest of you.
Can I look for tracks?
Roll survival for tracks.
If Mudslide is still with us, how pissed is she as we uncover this?
Mudslide did come out here with you when you were saying you were missing your sword. And she's like, who would... You see her sort of flex her knuckles a little bit.
Well,
Bright idea.
Garth is also missing.
Riven, you will find, this is kind of hard to do in a more urban setting because there's not really something that can be make tracks.
Okay, do I need to roll it again then?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
I'm just gonna come off the idea that you're going to find something to track with, something that can track that something happened here, but not necessarily actual tracks, because no actual tracks will be a thing. You did roll a higher survival with the 22 than Oak's investigation, oddly enough. And you find a sort of scuffed on the side of the boxes. You find a tiny little strand of thread.
She'll pick it up. What is it?
Looks like a sort of an off-brown yarn of some sort. Maybe hair? You're not quite sure.
She's gonna call for Hollis.
You have Hollis, that's not hard.
Yeah. Can I have him track on smell?
That is a thing he can do, yeah.
Okay.
So Hollis is going to find the scent and lead the way, yeah?
Yes.
Alrighty. So, everybody's staying together. You have the entire party, as it were, with the addition of Mudslide. And Hollis is leading the way through town with a skill roll of 22. Yeah.
Sorry. Before we get too far.
Okay.
While we're still at the boxes, can Bjorn like rip one of the planks out and say it's a club?
Sure.
Okay. He does that.
Actually, no. Better. As you start to go and grab at the planks that you're going to use as a club, Mudslide's like, you're not doing that. And she runs inside for a brief bit and she tosses out a longsword to you.
I catch it and I'm like, yes, this suits me nicely.
And you see that she has her flail. Not all of her weapons, but her flail. She has her flail on her.
Alright.
She didn't have them at first, but now she does. So then you guys will follow Hollis through town. Everyone's sort of giving a wide berth to the large direwolf.
Oh yeah, and pretty much angry party that's just like storming through.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Coming through him, out of the way. Probably gonna kill someone.
And
yes, let's just announce we're gonna go kill someone in front of guards.
I'm kidding. That wasn't out loud. That wasn't out of character.
Okay, good. So
Locke's just a hype man. Yes, killing people.
So you will make your way.
Locke needs a hype man. You kidding? He isn't a hype man. He needs one.
you will make your way through town a little bit, and Hollis eventually finds a sort of ramshackle hovel. It looks a bit like Mudslide's apartment, but a lot more disheveled and older, as if the person staying here is not near as doesn't keep it as near as upkept. Yeah, it's just this small little hovel of an apartment.
Riven kind of glances at Bjorn. Can I take an insight check, see how mad he is?
Sure, if you want to. Is it something that she would have to insight?
I mean, he's pretty, like, visibly pissed off. Like, he's got the kind of breathing going on.
Cad? Can you give him words of encouragement real quick? Or, like, calming? Riven's gonna knock on the door.
Okay.
Housekeeping! No, she just knocks on the door. Is there...
So you knock on the door. There's no answer at all.
Is there a car in the garage?
She knocks again.
No answer. Perception checks, people. Yay, all the characters. And yay, it being pointless because I have a character with a massive perception.
18.
15.
I don't see
14.
it, but I might smell it.
14. Let me roll for
Oak.
Fantastic,
You
it's
don't-
huge.
2 and get like a 28.
He's gonna roll like a 32 easily or something.
Jesus Christ.
Or 37 because nat 20. Okay.
Perception, he
Yeah,
can
'cause
also tell us where
Riven-
Noro is at this moment.
I would like to say Riven is getting ready to kick the door.
Of course.
She's getting ready.
What?
She hasn't done it yet.
Wait, wasn't kicking the door Silver's thing?
Yes, but the thing is, Riven knocked a couple of times, no answer, so she's gonna kick it in. Be like, well, the tent leads here, gotta go in.
Okay. So, there's no answer from what you guys can tell. But with the perceptions that are anything higher than,
35.
well, no, anything higher than a 15, which is pretty much everybody but Bjorn.
Yes.
And Let's Like, oddly enough.
Only me if I smell it.
Bjorn is blinded by rage.
My rage has blinded me!
I can smell Bjorn's rage.
Alright.
He is very livid.
So, you guys that have the 15 or more perception, you hear that there is a clatter of movement and a somewhat distressed crap, nyeh. And there's obviously someone inside, but there's no answer.
Riven's kicking the door.
Are you kicking the door in or just kicking it?
She's gonna try to kick it in. I've knocked once. I've been trying to be nice.
Alright.
Roll
is it?
strength.
This ought to be
Strength?
good, man. Telling you, this is gonna be good.
19.
Oh yeah, that door's gone.
Knock, knock. When someone knocks on your door, the first thing to do is answer. We are here to talk about your cart's extended warranty. Have you heard the good news about our Lord and Savior, the donut?
So
Fucking hell.
So, with that, you kick the door in, and you find the human girl from before with the saw with the fabrics. She has her room is very subpar. She has very little stuff in it. What can amount to a bed or a cot. The fanciest thing she has is what appears to be some sort of like mini like loom kind of a situation. It's not very big, but
Oh, did she look?
she's in her early 20s. Like, she's maybe 4 or 5 years older than Locke, like 21.
Okay, and how healthy does she look? Or do I need to roll another investigation?
I
or
think that'd be a medicine check.
Medicine?
Yeah, that's more of a medicine thing. Yeah.
9.
Can I have Locke try his hand at that?
Yeah. Sure.
Riven's blocking the door.
Well, I mean, I rolled a natural 20, so
Oh, okay.
step to the left.
Locke, with your natural 20, you pick up on it super easily, and you also pick up on something else that's super easily, though not technically from the medicine. Part of this girl's demeanor and how she's carrying herself, especially when you guys come into the room, is very, very, very familiar. This girl's a runaway. You can tell. Just because you are yourself, have been in your past. This girl's a runaway. She's probably been on her own a lot longer than you were. And she's probably not have been really fully taught how to properly take care of herself. Her contrary to you guys contrary to you guys saying that, you know, you're on a survival of like donuts and ale, she is probably extremely malnourished due to not having a proper way to find food, not having a proper way to get a lot of money. Yeah, she's not doing so great. and immediately as you guys kick the door in and are storming into a room with the like knock knock thing, she immediately has Bjorn's sword, which she can barely hold, and she's holding it out toward you guys. Not like in a gesture of I'm going to attack, but in a gesture of here you go, terrified.
Yeah, Riven just kicked the door and she's standing in the doorway and she's gonna keep an eye on Bjorn.
How well can Bjorn see what's going on from where he's standing? Because I'm still like out on the street, yeah?
Yeah, with Riven in the doorway, it's a little bit harder for you to see. But you can see the room. Can't really see much of what's going on in the room, per se, from your vantage point. But you can hear, I'm sorry. You can have it back. It's fine. I'm sorry.
Riven pushes Locke forward into the room.
And I awaken mine to her. Why me?
Because Bjorn is angry right now.
Alright, fine.
Bjorn is actively searching, not like walking around, but like visually, if there's any other way out of this house.
Okay, roll investigation.
Should stop doing things that require investigation. I'm not good at it. Oh, there it is. 20.
About the only thing that could amount for a way out is a window. There's another window, but it's small, and there's no back door.
I'm going to go to that window and just glare aggressively through it and see what I can find. See how well I can see.
Yeah, no perception required. You will see the room. You see the tiny little loom that she has. You see like a stack of fabrics and things that she's worked on. You can't see her because she's like kneeling on the ground effectively. And from the angle from the doorway, you can't really see your party in the doorway either. But you do know from the angle that, from what you could see from the outside, that if there was any kind of movement, you'd probably be able to see it. You got a decent vantage point from where you are.
Alright.
What is Cat doing?
Well, someone was blocking the doorway and someone else was pushed in, so I guess I would technically be outside.
Yeah, you're still outside. Mudslide's going with Bjorn.
And everyone else is inside?
Kind of.
Riven is in the doorway. Locke is inside. Hollis is beside you out in the street, and Bjorn and Mudslide have went into the alleyway beside the hut or shackle or shack. Bleh.
Shackle. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, as fun as it is to watch nothing from behind, I guess I'll go with Bjorn.
Yeah. Okay.
That is a well-guarded window.
It's an extremely well-guarded window.
All right, well, since Locke was the one who got shoved forward, I guess he kind of has to do something here.
Mm-hmm.
So, are both the sword and scarf being offered, or just the sword?
You currently right now she's just holding and putting out the sword.
Alright. And I was there when Bjorn bought the scarf, so...
Yep, you were.
Alright. So I'll reach out and... I'll be careful about it. Like, I'm not gonna, aggressively wrench the sword out of her hands. I'll take it with a more gentle touch. And the scarf you bought?
Right. Here. And she will get out the scarves that Bjorn had bought before. And he can have these too. And she starts to get more.
No, that's fine. Just what you took will be fine. That'll be sufficient. I'll pass the two things back over to Riven. Get this to Bjorn, please.
She looks out over to Bjorn.
He's went side.
Bjorn pokes his head back around the corner.
Oh, it's on the side? She's she's not leaving she doesn't want to leave the doorway.
Right, I know.
So she's going to call out to him.
Yeah, you see Bjorn's head poke back around the corner.
Come here.
Yes. Bjorn
She
comes on
just
over.
like holds the sword. And
Oh,
scarf.
thank God. I mean, the scar. He takes the sword and is like, thank you. This sword was my father's before me. Oh, and the scarf too. Good.
Do you feel better now?
There will be no need for blood. But, and he yells over his shoulder into the hut, I would still like an apology.
I'm sorry. Locke, you're in the room and you can see her more. This girl is terrified.
Alright. Seeing that, Locke is going to look to everyone else and kind of just give like a backup gesture.
If Riven goes into bodyguard mode and be like, everyone, over there, now, go.
Yeah, back up. Give the kid some space.
Bjorn
Move away from the house.
goes over wherever he needs to be while he's getting his sword reattached to the belt, I guess.
It should be noted. It should be noted she didn't take the sheath, just the sword.
No, alright, let's just put it right back in then and go where I need to be.
I'll turn back to the lady once we're alone. What's your name?
Mara. She's a cute runaway. We must protect her at this time.
Locke will nod slowly.
She followed us home. Can we keep her?
Look, we found a lost puppy.
So, I was with my friend there when you first crossed paths, when he bought that scarf from you. And
How much
I
do you know
noticed...
about him?
Bjorn? Frankly, not much. What he's deigned to share. That he's from way up north. That he was part of some, clan or warrior tribe or something to that effect, but wound up going his separate ways from them after something happened. I'm not clear on the details, and I have not pried. Why? Do you know something I don't?
You can see that she visibly gets a little choked up. His clan raided my village.
Ah.
They took everything. I was the only one that got away, and it was only because I was so small.
I see. That explains it. Well, I've been traveling with him for a while now. And I can tell you with confidence that he's a good man. A little eccentric, perhaps, but a good man.
Are you sure?
Trust me when I say that my trust is something very hard to earn. He's earned it.
Who are you?
My name is Locke, and I have my own fair share of things I'm running away from.
How do you cope?
At first, is there anywhere where is there a chair or a couch or anything anywhere?
Oh wait, she just lost her whole village, and she's by herself.
Yep.
Great.
Is there anywhere is there anywhere we can sit?
The bed cot is probably the most comfortable, though not very.
In that case, I'll stay standing. Well, the things I went through I don't think are really the same as what you did. It would be like comparing apples and oranges. I'm running away from my own misdeeds more often than not. So I don't know how applicable any advice I can give you is to your situation, but I guess...
How do you deal with feeling so alone?
For the longest of times, I told myself that was how I kept myself safe. Then I found out I was a complete total idiot and how wrong I was. The best ways, I think, to deal with feeling alone like that is to surround yourself with people you trust and care about. It's kind of a no-brainer, but the best way to not feel alone is to not be alone. You can find someone you trust and can rely on, and they can fill that gap better than any amount of coping method ever could. That's why I travel with these people.
Do your friends know what you're running from? Who you're running from?
Some of them. Not all of them.
Is it?
But I think all of them have an idea at least.
I don't know why I felt that. I saw him, and I remembered seeing him in the village and seeing the flash of his weapons. I'm sorry I took the sword. It felt like something I could do to get some sort of closure or something. I ran away when my village was attacked. I was just a scared kid. I guess being on my own hasn't really let me grow away from that.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
So he's good now. He's not hurt or stole from anyone else.
I'm not even sure if he was ever really bad to begin with, just maybe a little ignorant, a little misguided. I mean, again, I'm not really privy to all of the details, but insofar as I'm aware, he pretty much turned on a dime when it happened to him.
Okay. And then she just sort of zones out and is going into herself more. It's almost like the
Like in this arrangement. Do you get by? This arrangement, this little shack here. How long have you been here? Like, are you making enough to get by? Are you getting enough to eat?
I sell what I make in the marketplace. I don't make a bunch. I'm not that good. But I get a little bit of food. I'm doing okay.
All right. Well, I'll reach into my pack and I'll pull out that book I have on Ibon flowers,
Okay.
and I'll hold it out to her. Here, I'm not going to get any more use out of this. Why don't you have it? It's not much, but maybe it can give you a little bit of a reminder of home, or failing that, you could sell it and give yourself a bit of a blanket. You know, something to help you, at least for a little bit.
Thank you. Locke.
Just don't go stealing from my friends or anyone else again, really, and call it even, alright?
She just nods. And she's just staring at the book.
I mean it, though. If you can, see if you can surround yourself with people you trust. It's a lot easier to carry your burdens when you're not the only one holding it up. What if the world isn't so heavy when everyone's lifting it together, eh? Give her a little pat on the shoulder and then go to head out.
So how'd it go? Do I need to fix the door?
Is the door even broken, or did it just go open?
Ew, with a 19 strength, yeah, it's pretty well broken off its hinges. It wasn't a really sturdy door.
Oof.
At your gesture of that, and because of his high passive perception and being able to pick up on the conversations even from outside, Oak will, sort of with a little bit of help with Mudslide, get the door up and mending. Door fixed.
Alright, sorry about the door.
It's she starts to say something and then just stops.
I'll kind of lean towards Locke, like, so what exactly did you talk about?
I just sensed a kindred spirit in her and wanted to know her side of things.
Which are?
She was, if I'm understanding her story right, she came from the same place you did, Bjorn, way up north.
Truly.
And her village was attacked.
Can I make an... can I assume that Bjorn would be piecing shit together at this stage?
Oh yeah, probably.
And I do a perception check to hear them talking?
You probably would have heard them talking if you remained in the doorway.
She was helping with the... Well, she would have backed off a little bit.
Do I still
perception.
have the... I still have the
perception.
longsword that Mudslide gave me, right?
Do a perception check for if you...
12.
It wasn't super whispered, so 10's enough, yeah. You sort of picked up on most of it. You You would have heard more of Locke's side of the conversation than hers, because hers was timid and softer. But you could.
I meant the conversation that's going on between Locke and Bjorn right now.
Oh yeah, you can hear that just fine.
So I'll kind of like walk off. Like I think I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I lean in toward. I turn to him and say, like, how much did this sword cost you?
That was just a basic sword. Cost me, I think, about 5 gold when I got it.
5 gold? I toss her 5 gold pieces. Like, sorry, need to borrow it.
What are you doing?
Nothing. Don't worry about it. It's fine. And Bjorn enters the house and shuts the door
Bjorn?
behind him.
Bjorn?
Just let him.
No. He was angry when he was super angry.
Look.
What?
This is the part, I think, where he's making amends. Let him do it.
He's doing something right.
Amends for what? He didn't do anything.
I give Riven this just kind of like firm look.
Riven is like in a protective mode right now. Like super protective.
Of a person she barely knows.
Yes. Yes.
So
All because of a few key details.
So you walk in, you got a sword in hand, and your other sword that you sheathed. She is hiding poorly under the cart.
say, oh, no need for that. And look, I kind of look. Now that I've kind of got like an idea, can I tell if I recognize her or not?
Roll wisdom. Might be a little difficult.
Wisdom, huh?
Memory thing. Yeah. Actually, specifically because of the circumstance right now, yes, you do. The last time you would have saw this person, she was way smaller, but it was in a situation not too unlike this one. You had your friends nearby, you had your clan, the village was in shambles, and there was a room, and your friends were like just raiding and destroying things, and you caught the glimpse of a set of green eyes from a young little girl, and these green eyes of this girl match.
Alright. So Bjorn will take a moment and be like, I remember your village. I remember what happened. I'll be honest with you, I'm not good with words, so I'm going to keep this short. Your people didn't deserve what happened, and I'm sorry. I know from experience that sorry is not often good enough. So if you ever find you can't let it go, I leave the longsword on the ground between us. Well, I'm sure I'm not the hardest man to track. And I leave. That's all Bjorn's got. Right back out of there.
The moment he steps out, Riven's gonna grab him.
Bold of you.
Where is that sword, damn it?
The last
Tell me
I
you
found
did
it-
not
Did not what?
harm her.
No. And sort of like push her off. Like, I did no such thing.
Then where's the sword?
It's on the floor, in fact. She's fine. Come on. I need a drink. No.
Riven's going to look.
You're going to what?
Riven's going to look and see if he's telling the truth.
Look in the doorway.
Yes.
You will see Mara.
Or through the window if the door's closed.
You will see Mara, and she is crawling out from under the cot, and you see the longsword sitting in the middle of the room, and she is currently just sort of sitting next to it. well, kneeling next to it.
Okay.
Alright, so, barring anything else, Bjorn is heading back to the tavern.
Alrighty. And I think, with you guys making your way back to the tavern and with goals of perhaps trying to find some way to make a quick buck or to liquidate assets, unless anyone else has gotten anything else, we can stop there.
She's not going back to the tavern.
Uh-oh. Where are you going?
She hasn't left.
Oh, you're not leaving?
Nope.
Okay. So what are you doing? Just watching her in the window?
Yeah, she's just gonna hang out outside and keep an eye on the place.
Alright. So the rest of the party venture back to the tavern. And Hollis will, Mudslide will eventually say her goodbyes and return to where she needs to be in the night. And, yeah. That is where we'll end it then.
Alright.
We had a bit of a Bjorn session for once. How about that?
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah?
That was amazing!
And it had to start with a fantastic party for well over half the session.
Well, of course.
Every Bjorn gets his day.
Yeah.
Trust me, Bjorn was the star of the party.
Oh yeah. Bjorn had a great time. He has nothing but strong memories of it.
Even if they are a bit fuzzy.
And I will actually close out the session with a more interesting detail than just Riven sitting in an alley watching this tiny girl's shack.
She's just sitting there, just waiting until, like, she comes out of the place,
Okay.
giving her space.
She will eventually go to sort of collect herself a bit. She leaves the sword sitting in the middle of the room, and she will begin to sew on her little loom thing that she has. And for the first time, I just want to do this because I think it's a cool idea. This is not something that Riven would see. This is like a movie scene aspect. The camera sort of pans away from the alleyway that Riven is in to watch the window to go into an alleyway across the street, and we will see sort of cloaked and shadowed a little bit a very tiny person with scuffs of pink in her hair and faded over eyes. It's just sort of hanging out nearby. But yes. So, we will leave it at that. That was great fun. Finally a Bjorn thing. Hooray.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yay.
Also,
Who is
for what
this
is,
mysterious pink hair girl?
for what it's worth,
She is.
for what it's worth, the Tabaxi waitress, I actually have a name for her now. And it will be something that's interesting to perhaps most people here, if not all of them. Her name is Cadence.
I get it.
But yeah, so moving on. Let's see. We'll say this has been Shadows will be Sam.
David seems appropriate.
Well, this has been Shadows will be Sam, and then next time can be David.
Okay.
This has been Shadow of Gradiriel.
With our party having had a grand old party and maybe learned a bit about their past, they still need to get some more money saved up. Nice and quick. What'll they do? Find out next time.